All right, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Yes, sir. All right, man, let's get it. It's your boy LKB, aka K Trades, man. We back with another video. Friday was beautiful. You know, we got puts at the high of day. We actually swung a few lottos. Those were closed for 300%. I think they ended up running to almost 400 or something like that. But yeah, man, pretty simple day yesterday, right? We finally broke down that neckline, right? And then where we were, we took puts at the retest, right? On the higher time frames. Remember, smaller time frames can confuse you. Higher time frames make it a lot easier to understand what's going on, right? So we had a bearish move below a key level, right? So bounce from here, but this time we broke below, right? So we broke below level, we came back up, retested, and then dumped, right? So that's why we took puts on this, right? And our stop was just above 748. So we did have some time. Let me see. I called the position out at like 11. I don't think we went green all the way until like maybe like 1 o'clock. So, you know, it did take time. You know, these moves do take time. But, you know, let's get into it. Is this a crash? Is it over? You know what I'm saying? Is it, oh, it's over. It's over. I know how y'all like to do, man. Y'all be terrified over, you know, $2 moves. So, you know, we're just going to get into it real quick. We're going to go into the VIX. The NVDA, we're going to go over Google, you know, go over some setups for the week. So we're looking like, go over the possibilities, right, of a market crash. And then, yeah, let's start from the top. So, of course, SPY, right? We are currently gapping up, but slightly, right? Let's look at the overnight. But I'm so glad that TradingView now has overnight. So now, right, this could be setting up for like a nice little bearish move, consolidation, breakdown, and continuation, right, into the 735 level. But I don't want to get ahead of myself. So take it step by step. Main level right now is at 744. Control point, right? It's actually really interesting point on our gamma levels as well. Is negative gamma underneath this 744, right? So if we can't reclaim this, right, we can't get this bounce, kind of like over here, right? We did get the bounce, but it gave it away. Breakdown retest, right? So all we're gonna have to wait and see is if we can reclaim 745. If we can reclaim 745, we can look to get a push back up into 748, right? It'll make it just a whole lot easier to have a good target. So you want to give it time, right? Remember, you want to be patient. Higher time frames, not the 5 minute, not the, you know what I'm saying, because that'll mess your head up. Yeah, on Friday, you know, we bought puts. I think our first set like right here. So we did have to wait for all of this because we were waiting for the 4-hour close. But eventually, you know, it did go our way. But if I had been just keep, you know, watching the 5 minute, watching, it would have messed my head up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to do that. So you don't want to do that. So you want to make sure you're zooming out. Right? So above 745, we have 748. Now, if we can reclaim 748, then all of this possibly could just be a big bear trap, right? And then we're just going to scoop right back into this. Hold on. Let me get rid of this one. Right, we're gonna fly back into this upper channel, right? All this little, the little extra price action, you know, we can just chalk it up to liquidity, right? We can just chalk it up to whatever, because the market has been very choppy lately, right? All the way down, all the way back up, all the way down, all the way back up, right? So it's not out of character for this to happen. So that's why I'm saying, like, we can't say it's a full market crash yet, right? Or anything like that. Like, yeah, you go on social media or Twitter, you see people like, oh, this is the worst crash in history is about to happen. Like, geez, if that's gonna happen, we'll know it, right? This isn't just gonna catch us off guard or anything like that. So yeah, go back to the 4-hour. Excuse me, right? So now, if we cannot get right, we can't reclaim this 745. We can't reclaim 743, 744. All we got to do is basically watch a break of yesterday's lows, or not yesterday, my fault, Friday's lows, which is 740, right? So in between here, it can get scary. So I wouldn't necessarily take any new put positions in here, but you know what I'm saying, maybe you can scalp it if you happen to catch the upper move first. But if it does gap down into this area, I wouldn't necessarily go long down here, only because this is, you know, untested support, you know, since July 8th, July 2nd, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we're above this, we tend to usually bounce. And even if we came down, right, see how vicious this bounce was? So I don't want to go long into this, even if, like I said, even if we go through it. Just wait for the breakdown retest, kind of like this right here, right? So wait for us to break 740, right? Hold below, you know, not like a, oh, come down real quick, sweep that, and then just take off from there, right? Because that is a very good possibility, you know, as far as like the bull side and stuff like that. Yeah, so be very careful. But if we do, right, let's say we get a good strong volume, just out of here, boom, one candle. If we start to consolidate under 740, right, wait till we start to push back below some good volume, right? We start doing that, crack below, then I would target 735 main level and then 731. Now we break that, like I said, sometimes when we flush, it does just flush, go straight to it. So if it does go below that, right, you still got 741. I'm not my fault, 721, all the way below, and then 724. So, and if, like I said, if that were something that would have happened, we would have a very high chance of a true double top in here. So, it is very possible, but I'm not, me, I'm not a fear monger, so I'm not gonna say it's the biggest crash ever. No, I'm not gonna say that. But if it does want to crash, right, we tend to crash from this area. All right, look at this. Right, every time that we can't seem to reclaim this 750, 755-ish level, dump from here, consolidate, dump again, right? Come up, dump, 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 right? Dump, dump, and now we've officially dumped, right? So we're kind of, all we have to do, like I said, is just look left, right? So underneath 748, right? You see this kind of failed 748 setup all the way down to 731, right? So that's why we kind of, that's how we come up with these levels, because we kind of see them just by looking in history, right? So SPY is going to be pretty much, same game plan. But like I said, I do want this to come lower, at least to 735, right? Let me make it let it feel real, because this dump, this don't necessarily feel like anything crazy, right? If you want to catch a nice bear trap, you want this dump to feel real, like crack some crazy levels, right? Come down here, trick everybody maybe in this level, and then, rock it back up or something like that. Because we are kind of in this broadening formation as well. All right, so it's definitely possible. So we'll see at the lower levels. That's why I said I don't really want to go short too crazy underneath here unless I can catch the fake out, right? But it looks like it's possibly going to happen overnight. So by the time y'all watch this, or by the time market does open, we might, might be a whole different story. But like I said, above 743, 745 into 748. Now, I wouldn't go long into 748. I probably would scale off of some of these little, the move from here to here, right? I would take that. But if it does break, hold, and then target 750, all the way back up to 752, 753, and then that insane level 755, right? All this is possible. It could happen, right? This could magically erase the whole move today, right? We don't know. NVDA, let's go over that. NVDA, honestly, to me, looks like a breakout retest. Hold on. Yeah, look at this. Look at this weekly. Right, we're gonna have to see more, because this is a failed directional candle. Right, so if we can get back above 213, that'll be a good sign that this was just a, a little consolidation. Right, so we'll see how this week plays out. I still like NVIDIA. Right, nothing crazy. Remember, we've been in consolidation in this little downtrend. Finally broke out. Could just be a retest. Right, and then maybe you get some bullish divergence and play out a little flag or something off here. So we'll kind of see how that plays out. But yeah, main thing over 213, I feel a lot better for this being just a dump, right? Or just a little quick trap or something like that. No, not Meta. GOOG. Yeah, Google kind of failed that test, right? It had the kind of like the same thing with NVIDIA, but NVIDIA's didn't go that bad. NVIDIA still kind of held the breakout. Right, NVIDIA came out and then kind of held. So Google, and it has earnings too. So if we do kind of come back up here, if we can reclaim, I'm gonna be looking for a nice little pushback down to the lower 320s for earnings. Tesla earnings is this week as well, but we did kind of come down into here, right? Remember we talked about this descending triangle. But of course, this needs a retest. So I do think we do get some sort of relief bounce. That's why I'm not too mad about a relief bounce on SPY and other tickers, right? We did have a nasty little 2-day dump. So I'm not mad at a little, and then we probably roll right back underneath, and then you can play bearish like that. But earnings kind of, it's a toss up, right? Sometimes the technicals you can kind of get a little feel. But if this is, like I said, if this is a failure, if it's a trap, it's going to recover and then get a nice little hard bounce. All right, so just be careful. Mark your levels at 390 level, your 400 level, and then your 380 level, right? So give yourself a little wide, a little range, and just kind of, wait for the breakout, wait for the retest, play higher time frames. And VIX. So VIX is elevated, right? So we know our contracts will be expensive, right? Moves might be a little wild. You might think it's gonna break to the upside, and then it does, and then it just dumps right back down, right? This could be a very volatile week if volatility continues to go higher. All right, so don't be shocked by crazy moves, right? You got to kind of widen that stop loss a little bit, because you can get stopped out. Like, you can't get a crazy week to the upside just to go right back down. You know, it happens when the volatility is high. So just expect that, prepare for it, you know. And if the volatility is high, hey, it's better for us. We can make more money with smaller amounts. So keep that in mind, right? You don't have to go heavier in size. You can actually size down a little bit. Market's expecting something, right? We don't know what it is. All right, and the last thing is going to be the dollar. If the dollar can recover, I have alerts here at, I think what is it, a weekly high? I think it was last week's high. Or no, just this week's high. So if we get back above that, if the dollar can get back above last week's open, this will probably be another indicator for stocks probably going down, right? But if the dollar continues to go down, you know, like I said, it's probably just a little pop, you know, a little dump. But like I said, we'll see. You know, it's a Sunday night, so we're gonna wait till Monday and you know, get everything to play out. But I do hope we kind of get that pullback into these other levels, right? That would be nice. That'd be nice, right? We come all the way down to 739, possibly 735. But like I said, we'll see. We'll see how it plays. And yeah, y'all know where to find me at, man. Yeah, all the links will be in the description. And I'll see y'all. But remember, trading is as simple as you make it. If you complicate it, it will be complicated, right? If you keep it simple, then it'll be simple, right? You ain't really got nothing to worry about. So keep it simple. Keep God first. I'll see y'all later. Peace.